I'd like to bring in our good friend Taylor Small. Taylor, come on in.
Hello, Amber.
Taylor, you're running for re-election. You've served one term
Just
in the
one.
state representative. You were the first transgendered representative elected to the Vermont House. And what has your life been like the past 2 years?
It's been a roller coaster because I started campaigning through a global pandemic. Did the first full year online, which everyone just kept telling me in the Zoom chat that it wasn't the same. And I was like, really? It's not the same as being in the building? I'm so shocked to hear that. But then finally got to go into the building the second year and get to meet all of my colleagues in person. Um, and it was amazing. I think hearing that conversation with John earlier, I'm a little, it's bittersweet seeing all this turnover. I hear his piece on term limits and I'm definitely in support. But seeing all of these folks, about a third of our House and a third of our Senate leave in 1 year is pretty sad as a new member because of all of the folks like John Clackey, like Bill Lippert, who have been leaders for our community for so long. I wish I had a little more time with them, but I'm really eager to carry that torch in the next session.
Yes, because if that many people have left, your rank in seniority is pretty good there.
I would say so.
Yes, yes. So what do you hope to do in your second term?
Oh, well, really focusing on more protections, especially as we see what is happening across the nation when it comes
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Time out. Let's go back to what you accomplished your first term because that is simply amazing. Tell us about that bill that you were responsible for.
Yeah, so two main bills that I was able to pass in my first term. One banned the LGBTQ panic defense here in the state of Vermont. Defense that I cannot even believe that we can call it a defense, where folks say that they had this sense of panic or anxiety, and it meant that they had to attack or murder an LGBTQ person. Um, and so we were actually the 14th state to be able to ban that defense. And we did
14th state. We're the 14th state.
That's right. And we were able to get unanimous support through the House and Senate, as well as our Republican governor, which is quite a different story than what we saw from issues such as gender expression protections, as well as marriage equality in Vermont. Those were not unanimous votes, but that was truly amazing.
And what was the other one?
The other one, making it easier for trans people to see their gender reflected on their birth certificates. So that one was a great collaboration with the Department of Health. They saw the inequities there as well. So really swift action taken, and got some very heartwarming letters over the break of young folks and older folks across Vermont just feeling really validated and understood and seen through such a simplified process.
And through your efforts, you've been acknowledged several times by several different organizations. Okay, I know you're a shy person and you don't like to brag, but come on, give it to us. What have
You
you
want?
been?
I can bring the queen out for you,
Oh,
Amber.
please do it, do it, do it.
I think that the biggest one was from One Young World, which is an international organization that brings together young leaders, recognizing the work that they're doing in their home countries, either through panel conversations, speeches, or awards such as Politician of the Year, which I was one of 5 young politicians to receive that award. And
From
the
the
only
world,
from the
from
United
the
States.
world. Oh, from
Yes,
oh
the
my
entire
gosh.
world. It was trust me, I checked a couple times to be like, is this a scam? Like, are you gonna ask me for my credit card number next? But luckily, no, they offered me a flight out to Manchester, England, to participate in a 4-day conference with 2,000 young folks from 196 countries. It was truly life-changing.
Wow. That is so cool. And you've been acknowledged other places too.
Yes. Well, as John will bring up later, the
Well, no,
concern.
we'll talk about that later.
You
We
didn't
want to
mean
bring
that way,
Brian into
Amber.
that
Oh, but I'm so
conversation.
honored about it.
Yeah.
Um, others being early on, I was recognized as one of 50 badass women to be able to, run and serve. I was one of 3 politicians recognized from Time Out magazine, as well as one of 11 amazing women who changed the world in the last year. So it has been quite the accolade central. So I'm really hoping I can keep this momentum going into the second term.
Now, when I first met you, how many years ago, did you have any idea that this is your life's path?
I had no idea, truly. I remember, back when I had my own public access television show, we had Keisha Ram Hinsdale on before she had run for the Senate. And she made a comment then of, we need a queen. We need a queen to run and serve in the House. And I laughed at that, thinking, well, it's not going to be me, but I'll support someone who goes into that role. But how amazing is it that just 4 years after that, I stepped in and said, actually, I think it is. It is my time.
All right. Now, in your next term, because you will be reelected, are you running unopposed, I believe?
I technically have an opponent, but I'm really not worried. Everything going on.
Will you be up for a chairman or chairperson of a committee, or is that possible?
Possible, but not probable. Haven't been in the House long enough to be able to chair a committee, though I'm really excited to be taking on, as I was saying before, some work in hopefully the Judiciary Committee to push protections for abortion care providers as well as gender affirming care providers. And maybe even go as far as doing a constitutional amendment to make sure that we have our equal rights protected within our Vermont state constitution. Again, because it seems like there is quite the mess going on in DC, and we need to make sure that we have our protections here at home.
Now, who are you talking about equal rights?
Equal rights across identities, of course, a very strong focus on marriage equality. So for same-sex couples, for transgender folks, for people with disabilities, of course, people of color, which I'm very glad that we have 2 amazing amendments to our Constitution on the ballot this year. One to abolish slavery, finally and officially here in the state of Vermont.
Oh, no.
It feels weird to have to say it, but I'm glad that our Constitution really is about to reflect our values. That, and of course, Article 22, which will enshrine reproductive liberties for all Vermonters.
How much do you deal with people from other states? Do you talk to other representatives from other states and talk about bills to present?
Yes, actually. In this off session, I was able to be part of a panel of tripartisan legislators, some from Connecticut, Texas, California, and Delaware, talking about ways that we can update our criminal legal system. Really focusing primarily on youth and human rights for youth within our juvenile system. And so I have a lot of ideas that came out of that. It's really helpful, especially as a part-time legislator, to be able to hear what's going on in other states, get ideas from their bills, and then see what we might be able to do here in Vermont or where that might have some crossover, especially knowing potential barriers or what pitfalls they might have experienced, and having that information exchange.
Now, you said tripartisan. What does that
mean?
mean?
Tripartisan, yes. So Democrat, Republican, and progressive.
Oh, okay. All right. Are there progressives other places than Vermont?
We are the only state that recognizes the Progressive Party on the statewide level, but luckily I get to carry that designation. So I was that tripartisan edition.
Okay. And you'll try anything. That's what I've heard.
Well, you heard it here first.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Taylor. We're going to have you back later on to talk to Brian and John, and we've got some fun conversation with that. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me, Amber.
Oh, no problem.